We need to build a wall, and it has to be built quickly.
Good morning. It is 9:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by our friends at Better Water. If you need a water filtration system, you go to betterwater.com. You can listen to the show on iHeartRadio, tune in, the FM dial. You can watch the show as well. YouTube and Rumble are there for you. The show, especially on YouTube, has gotten dramatically better with the return of one Joan Jones. Welcome back to the program, Joan.
Aw, thank you.
Did you have a great vacation?
Certainly did.
Where'd you go? Did you go anywhere fun?
To the Democratic Republic of Maryland.
Do they let you have fun there?
Not really.
Got to pay a tax?
On everything. On the area brief. Got to see grandkids and stuff like that, you know.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, we're glad to have you back. Jay Harper did a good job. Sam was okay. And I saw that somebody was already mean texting you in this morning.
Yeah.
Somebody was sending hate texts.
That's all right.
I'm pretty sure that was either Jay or Sam on a burner phone.
Oh, I see. On a burner phone, that makes sense.
That's what I'm saying.
Right?
People don't think it'd be like it is, but it do. How could anybody hate Joan Jones? We're glad to have you back. Seriously. Did you hear that Mason got arrested yesterday?
Mason, you got arrested?
I got pulled over. There's a difference. I haven't been arrested yet.
He's got a court case, Joan.
What'd you do,
And
Mason?
he's thinking about skipping the court case and becoming
A fugitive.
Yeah, he's gonna go on the lam. Call him mint jelly.
Whoa.
Considering it.
We're gonna do it for a
yeah,
bit.
I
I told him
pulled over.
I told him to run out of the court date as a part of a bit for the show.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, he wants me to get arrested over the board while the show's going on.
Imagine the YouTube numbers.
They'd skyrocket.
They would. You could be a star. Your star is on the rise.
We could do that without actually getting arrested, though.
Dude, so many celebrities started their careers getting arrested.
Oh, that's the start of my career is getting arrested?
That's the beginning.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
You gotta start at the ground floor, then the rise. It's about the comeback. You can't have a comeback without a setback, Mason.
We can only go up from there.
See what I'm saying?
Yep, I see it. I see the future.
So anyway, Mason was ignoring all the rules of the road, like all of them at once.
Did you blow a stop sign or a stop light?
I got pulled over for texting.
Mason, you know better than this.
I know. We were in standstill traffic, and a one Chris Hand shot me a message.
It's Chris's fault.
I didn't get
Not
pulled over,
entirely.
Joe.
He didn't tell me to read it. But my phone, the little notification at the top disappeared before I could finish reading it. So I reached over, picked up my phone to go to the notification, unknowingly in front of the state trooper right behind me, who very clearly saw me.
But don't let him wax over the best part. He would have got arrested anyway,
Because
even if he wasn't texting.
Because my tags on my car are
Were expired.
too.
Hold on. When did they expire, Mason?
June.
They expired in June, Joan.
you know, it doesn't cost that much in this state to get your car registered. You should see what it costs in other states.
To be fair, I thought they renewed in October because that's when my Jeep did, and I bought this car last September. So I thought I still had some time. That was the mindset that I was in.
Joan, fact check
Not
this
thinking
for me.
future.
Yeah.
Does the Registry of Motor Vehicles in this state send you a handy-dandy reminder?
Pretty much do. But in his defense, Mason's been moving around the country
I've been moving
every 6
all over
months.
the place.
Does or does not the post office have a forward your
Forwarding.
mail service for free?
They do. Do I think about that stuff? No.
Well, clearly you weren't thinking.
Obviously.
So Mason's going to skip out on court, and I love it. I'm here for
Become
it.
a fugitive. I like it.
Isn't that? It sounds sick.
Yeah.
Can't really be on the lam if I'm showing up for work every day, though. So we'll see how that goes.
They're going to know where to find you. That's part of the plan.
Appointment viewing.
See, but the thing is, they only know you as Mason. They don't know you with your last name. So
Yeah, they don't know
you
your
could be
last-
Mason anybody.
They don't know your last name is Fleming.
The works for 997 WTN.
Did
They
you
don't-
try to get out of it? Did you try to like say, "Do you know who I am?" kind of thing?
I thought about it, but I was like, I don't think that'll go over well. I obviously, as Chris has said, I don't show up to the events, and that's my own fault for working another job. But
He's just trying to get you.
not
to
as
show
much
up at
notoriety
events.
as I might hope for.
You should have said, "Don't you know who I am?" You should have. So many opportunities to get out of that thing. Now you got to skip court for the show.
I have a connection to Andy Ogles. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, that's only going to work for a few more months.
Only a few months, but like it's within the months.
Well, welcome back, Joan.
Thank you.
We've obviously
nice.
fallen apart without you.
Oh, clearly, yeah.
It's been all downhill.
If I was
You're
here,
too
Mason
lazy.
probably wouldn't have done that.
It's true.
Yeah.
True.
You would have warned him.
Should have known better.
Supreme Court handed an initial win to the Trump administration yesterday. This is going to obviously make Democrats scream louder and louder to pack the Supreme Court because this is just another underhanded trick by the conservative fascist bigots on the Supreme Court. But it was in the effort to implement the executive order aimed at limiting who can receive mail-in ballots ahead of the 2026 midterm elections. This is actually a big win. NBC reports, at issue are provisions that seek to create a federal list of eligible voters and order the U.S. Postal Service to deliver ballots only to those people. The justices divided 6-3 along ideological lines, with conservatives in the majority lifted an injunction a Massachusetts-based judge imposed in June that prevented key aspects of the executive order from going into effect this year in California and 22 other states that had challenged it. The courts also granted a similar application filed by Alabama and 11 other states. The White House praised the court's ruling, calling the executive order and the provisions in it common sense measures. White House spokesperson Lauren Biss said the administration will continue to lawfully enact the agenda of the president was elected on, which includes the safety and security of our elections. This is a big deal. This is going to allow mail-in ballot tracking and citizenship lists to vote while the case proceeds. It's not the end-all, be-all, but this may at least last until the midterms, unless they get to it quicker than that. So we'll maybe have full steam ahead on secure elections. One can hope. The New York Attorney General, Big Tish, Letitia James, said this decision is a painful setback, but it will not be the final word. She was among the attorney generals that challenged the proposal. California Governor Gavin Newsom said Monday that his state will launch a new challenge to the Trump administration's policy on mail-in votes, posting on X, following today's SCOTUS ruling, California will sue again to block Trump's attack on mail-in voting. Every eligible voter gets a mail-in ballot here, and we'll fight to keep it that way. President Trump has frequently railed against the widespread use of mail-in ballots as part of his broader complaints, as NBC says, offered without evidence. Everybody's seen the mules, right? You've seen the 1,000 mules, 10,000 mules, Dinesh D'Souza? Yes, mail-in ballots were an issue. They've been an issue for a long time. You know it, and I know it. You understand it when you see those individuals going to the mail-in ballot drop boxes with 30, 40, 50 mail-in ballots. And it's on video. There's actually local news reports during the 2020 election where they were like, look at how great this is with the drop boxes. And then behind them, some lunatic leftist is pulling up and dumping dozens of mail-in ballots in the box. Nothing to see here, folks. Everything's fine. So it's all without evidence. And they say that this broader complaint without evidence that the elections are plagued with fraud. You just found out in New Jersey that 6,600 illegal aliens are on the voter rolls and that hundreds of them voted in the last election. There's a whistleblower that just came forward in Michigan that said anytime you change your address in the state of Michigan, that you are getting registered to vote automatically. It got brought to Harmeet Dillon live on TV. She said, we're going to look into that. And if it's true, there will be some consequences. President Trump's efforts will continue to pass the Save America Act until morale improves. I wish that we had some more Republicans that were more willing to fight than we currently have, but that's where we're at, where the Save America Act is probably not going to get passed. And if it does, it definitely won't be passed in time for the midterm elections. But this could absolutely push back, resist some of the fraud that we're seeing in the mail-in balloting. And you're kidding yourself if you think there's no fraud in the mail-in ballot schemes. How much fraud? That's the only question that's on the table. That's it. There's absolutely fraud. And if you're telling me that there isn't any fraud, you think the same people that would lie about kids having autism or lie about feeding hungry kids wouldn't lie to vote in these elections? You're kidding yourself only. I don't know what to tell you. So I wish Congress would get off their butts and pass the Save America Act, but here we are. NBC continues, the Supreme Court decision is provisional, focusing only on the argument that the U.S. District Judge Indira Talwani acted prematurely in preventing the provisions from being implemented in the 23 states before the federal agencies had even drawn up plans for how to implement the executive order. The court's disposition of this application does not mean that any measure taken by the government to implement the order will necessarily be lawful. On that score, time will tell. The decision leaves the door open to the judges intervening later, especially with regard to any restrictions imposed for the coming midterm elections. On Friday, while the case was pending, the Postal Service issued its final regulation that would enforce parts of the executive order. The dissenters, the three liberal justices on the dissenters were the three liberal justices on the conservative majority court, saying today's decision does not address whether the president's attempts to interfere with states' administration of the November 2026 elections are lawful, nor does it suggest that the executive branch has any constitutional or statutory authority to implement the president's directives. Instead, today's decision merely postpones adjudication of those challenges. That was Sotomayor writing. In a separate dissent, Ketanji Brown Jackson said, "What's a woman?" No, I'm kidding. She said, "This is taking its eye off the ball by focusing on technical legal argument instead of what she views as the larger goal of the Trump administration to secure our imprimatur for its effort to foment chaos ahead of the November elections." Taking your eye off the ball. How dare you argue technical legal arguments with the Supreme Court? The Trump administration told the Supreme Court the new regulations did not go as far as the executive order anticipated, saying the Postal Service will not refuse to transmit ballots, even if senders are not on a state list of registered voters. The Supreme Court decision is in line with one in a related case by the U.S. Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia Circuit that rejected a separate attempt by Democrats to block the executive order. Lower courts declined to put the Massachusetts ruling on hold, leading the administration to turn to the Supreme Court. There are people that are pretty excited about this. Mike Davis is one of those individuals. Nick Sorter posted this clip. It's from last night on Laura Ingraham. He said that Davis is taking a victory lap on the SCOTUS ruling on, it's not a ruling, the decision on the mail-in voting.
I think that there is enough time for the administration to implement these regs, because some mail-in ballots may have already gone out or they're about to go out. Tell us about that.
I mean, the president is going to move fast. And I would just say this, why are the Democrats so scared to have accountability with our elections? Why are they so scared to make sure that the Postal Service is not committing mail fraud by mailing ballots to illegal aliens and other illegal voters?
It would shock you to know, Mike, by the way, that Ketanji Brown Jackson issued a blistering dissent to this order, essentially saying this is all Kafkaesque and this must be stopped.
It's got to be stopped. Please, someone, anyone, stop this. Why would the Democrats want to stop illegal aliens from getting ballots in the mail? Because they want illegal aliens to vote in these elections. It's simple as just follow the path of least resistance here. Democrats want to enable cheating, and they get pissed off anytime someone tries to stop their enabling of cheating. Many such cases. We got a lot to get to. On the way, we'll talk about Iran. It was Economic D-Day yesterday. Scott Bessent giving a big old press conference. I don't know. Kind of felt meh. Kind of felt low energy. Maybe you disagree. We'll also talk about Iran in the broader sense. Then we'll talk about some accountability. We'll talk about the stories today that are being ignored by the mainstream media. And are we getting a new immigration coordination center by the airport? We are. It looks like we are. I was very excited. The liberals are very upset. We'll talk about that too. It's 9:21. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Love these guys. And as the kids head back to school, you got some time to get some things done around the house and make sure your home is ready for the winter. Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling is helping you save with some of their biggest back-to-school offers of the season. You schedule that HVAC maintenance, you complete any HVAC repair, you're going to get a free dryer vent cleaning. I don't know if you actually follow Busy Bee on Instagram. I do because they're my guys, so of course I dropped a follow. But I was watching a video of them doing a dryer vent cleaning. I'm surprised the house wasn't already on fire, if I'm just being honest with you. This is going to be an added safety for your house, and you're going to get it done for free with any HVAC maintenance or HVAC repair, and it's going to be one less thing on your to-do list. If you're thinking about a new system, purchase a high-efficiency HVAC unit, you'll be entered to win Busy Bee's Healthy Hive giveaway, a $1,500 sponsorship for the local school of your choice. Imagine the glue sticks and the hand sanitizer you can bring with that kind of money. Plus, qualified teachers, faculty, and staff members can receive a free Beehive membership when a customer purchases one or renews one and gifts it to them. This is the guys at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. They're going to save you money, and they're going to help you every step of the way with approved credit, 0% financing for 18 months. It's Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, 615-775-7833, 615-775-7833, busybeehvac.com.
up, the school season just getting underway, and a couple of school threats have already been received. We've got that coming up at 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Not a fan. Not a fan at all. That's Joan Jones in the newsroom. Headlines on the way in less than 3 minutes here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. A lot of people on the text line weighing in, calling out Mason for riding dirty. We got one guy that said, "Don't take any advice from your public defender." Chris, he's not the public defender to be listening to. Somebody said, "Mason, if you're saying you're affiliated with Andy Ogles, you'll get your phone taken." That would stop you from texting.
True. Does it at least alleviate the payment that I have to do or the points on my license?
And then Randy texted in, he said, tag renewals in Arizona, they're based on the value of your car. And he said the last year he was there, they were $600 to renew.
Whoa.
That's what I said. So I said, what were you driving, the Batmobile?
Yeah.
He hasn't answered yet, so confirmed Randy is, in fact, driving the Batmobile.
Well, for that much, it's either the Batmobile or it's something massive that takes up a lot of space, like the Millennium Falcon.
Oh. Yeah, to bring in a
saying.
Star Wars reference.
Oh, is that what that was?
Yeah, and it's like, as soon as I feel bad for him for getting a ticket, he does something like that, and then I don't feel bad for him anymore. You notice that? It's weird.
All right, I'll see myself out.
It's fine. It's fine. We love you anyway. All right, so we do have some stuff to get to. The United States Treasury has begun Operation Economic Outcast. Scott Bessent announcing this yesterday in a big press conference. I guess my big question would be, why did we wait until yesterday to get Operation Economic Outcast going?
Treasury has begun Operation Economic Outcast, an unprecedented campaign against the Islamic Republic of Iran and its enablers. In the Second World War, D-Day marked the historic beginning of a campaign with our allies to target and drive the enemy from its positions, including those in third countries. Today, in that same spirit, we are launching an economic onslaught against Iran's financial connections around the globe.
The big question here is, what does it mean for China? Scott Bessent did take some questions from the press, and the China question came up, the CQ, if you will. We'll bring you that answer on the other side. It's 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
China.
Good morning. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. The Supreme Court backing new U.S. Postal Service regulations on mail-in voting. It's prompting questions about how the changes could be implemented with the congressional midterms just over 2 months away. Here's ABC's Jay O'Brien.
The ruling allows the Department of Homeland Security to create a federal registry of what it believes are eligible voters, also inside that Trump executive order, allowing the post office to decide essentially who would be sent a mail-in ballot and only send those out in states that have provided their voter information to the federal government.
Now, the Trump administration says the new rules will make voting by mail more secure. Critics, however, say there's no evidence of widespread voter fraud in U.S. elections. In Coffee County, a high school student is under arrest after making a verbal threat. Here's Channel 4's Marius Payton.
School district says law enforcement does not believe it was credible, but they say it was taken seriously and that student was taken into custody.
Also, a threat at John Overton High School in Nashville caused a brief lockdown yesterday. Metro Nashville police searched the school. They found nothing of concern. Well, you won't find cats roaming the streets of White House anymore. News 2 says the Sumner County town has passed a new ordinance.
White House passed an ordinance that bans owners from letting their cats run in the streets, alleyways, or in unenclosed lots within the city. The city making clear tonight it does not ban outdoor cats altogether.
Officials in White House say people can still send their cats outdoors. They just don't want the town to be overrun by cats. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends at Better Water. Don't say the LLC. That's dead naming. It's just Better Water. If you need a water filtration system or a water softener, you go to betterwater.com. Do you need one? Have you ever tested your water? You could have some nasty stuff in there, and let me just be a spoiler. It could be sulfur, it could be iron, it could be chlorine, it could be bacteria, it could even be E. coli. This is the stuff that you're bathing in. You're bathing your kids, you're bathing your grandkids in. You're making coffee with this water in the morning? What are you doing? Now, to have that peace of mind, Better Water will test your water for free. And if you got nothing in there, they'll tell you you're good to go. If you have some of the nasty stuff, they offer a range of options to clean it up. From reverse osmosis to specialized filters to UV lights, Better Water has you covered. And they're total pros. They're already treating the water at the coffee shops and the hospitals around town. A local company based right out of Smyrna, and they're serving all of Middle Tennessee. Stop drinking the junk out of your tap. Find out if it is junk coming out of your tap. Give Better Water a call today. 615-355-6063. That's 615-355-6063, or you can find them online, betterwater.com.
Treasury has begun Operation Economic Outcast, an unprecedented campaign against the Islamic Republic of Iran and its enablers. In the Second World War, D-Day marked the historic beginning of a campaign with our allies to target and drive the enemy from its positions, including those in third countries. Today, in that same spirit, we are launching an economic onslaught against Iran's financial connections around the globe.
That was Scott Bessent yesterday. Big press conference in Washington, D.C. on Economic D-Day. This was launched, Operation Economic Outcast, yesterday. Ripple effects already being felt. Iran's currency hits record lows as the U.S. rolls out Economic D-Day sanctions. How low can you go? You know, is it worse than it was? It's pretty bad. Iran's currency, the rial, hit a record low over 2.02 million to the U.S. dollar on Monday as the Trump administration prepared to unveil its Economic D-Day maximum sanctions against Tehran. The rial has been declining steeply for quite some time, reports Breitbart News, as heavy inflation eats away at their economy. The popular uprising in January, which the regime put down by savagely murdering thousands of its own people, was caused in part by the collapse of the rial to about 1.4 million against the U.S. dollar. At the beginning of Operation Epic Fury on February 28th, the rial was trading at 1.53 million to the U.S. dollar. They say because of the years of corruption and mismanagement and Tehran's penchant for funneling money to terrorist proxies across the Middle East, instead of caring for its own people, they had thoroughly squandered the financial windfall from one President Barack Hussein Obama's nuclear deal in 2015. So things are going to get worse.
Around the globe, our objective is to sever every economic lifeline that sustains this tyrannical regime until Tehran stands alone. Iran's fanatics devote themselves to death to America and seek nuclear weapons to do just that. They have murdered and maimed more of our citizens and service members than any other terrorist regime on earth. And they have been at war against America, their neighbors in the Gulf, and much of the world for 47 years.
Last week, Iran's central bank director said that Iran's oil exports have effectively fallen to zero due to the U.S. blockade. With the loss of the oil revenue in mind, the International Monetary Fund, the IMF, is projecting a 5.4% contraction in Iran's economy by the end of 2026, with inflation reaching 70%. Even during the best of times, Iran's economy has rarely grown at more than 1% in a quarter over the past 20 years. So when you look at that picture and then you add in what's coming with these sanctions, it doesn't look good, but you do have to wonder what took so long. Why wasn't this a day one plan in coordination with Operation Epic Fury? I mean, that's the big question here. But Bessent says that no one is going to be above these sanctions, because it's not just about Iran being sanctioned, it's about their allies being sanctioned. And I guess the biggest question mark here is how you deal with China, because we know that China buys a lot of the oil, and they're probably helping them behind the scenes. I would imagine that China and Russia are using Iran as a proxy, much the same way that America is using Ukraine as a proxy. It's just the coin has been flipped. But Bessent said the likelihood of Chinese institutions being targeted in Operation Economic Outcast, he said it's high if they are getting into that ecosystem and they're making money and spending money with Iran. So the question was asked to him directly, and Scott Bessent answered it directly.
Secretary, one of the most powerful tools you have at your disposal is the ability to impose secondary sanctions on banks and financial institutions that facilitate transactions for Iran. Chinese banks have often been talked about being targeted, but we don't see any of those institutions targeted here. Is that something that is coming in this campaign, or is the very delicate trade truce with China something that could prohibit you from going that far and taking that very big step?
We want to make clear here today that no one is above the reach of U.S. sanctions. That if they facilitate transactions and are part of the ecosystem that turns Iranian oil into money, into repression, they will be targeted. We find that the best way to engage with countries is through quiet diplomacy, and we are level setting with every country to tell them our expectations. We know who they are, they know who they are, so when the hammer of U.S. Treasury actions falls upon them, they will have no one to blame but themselves.
When the hammer comes down, they can only blame themselves. U.S. Ambassador to NATO, Ambassador Whitaker, said yesterday on Fox News's Fox and Friends, the big question, why haven't you done this already? He said the real reason is that obviously there's an escalation that you would go through. You don't maximize everything that you bring to a conflict like this. And so President Trump has obviously kept a clear goal of getting a deal done that guarantees forever that Iran does not possess a nuclear weapon. And that's going to always be the number one goal. And so incrementally increasing the pressure on Iran and the regime, I think, will accomplish that. We have militarily, they have been decimated. They have no meaningful military that can defend or protect the Iranian people, and their navy is at the bottom of the Strait of Hormuz. But will China keep propping them up? Scott Bessent says, probably not. He even reiterated that no one is above U.S. sanctions when discussing this yesterday during the press conference, saying no one should test our resolve.
You just said moments ago that no one is above U.S. sanctions. What specific secondary sanctions or penalties is Treasury prepared to levy against Chinese banks and shipping firms if they do not comply? And then secondly, as you look to take these unprecedented sanctions, you've also said that as the Iran conflict fades and oil prices recede, that will help bring down long-term bond yields. In the meantime, you have mentioned your toolkit, and I'm curious if you are looking at reducing auction sizes for longer-term dated Treasury debt going forward, and what other actions you may consider from that toolkit.
Yeah, well, why don't we work backwards? We issued the quarterly refunding announcement 2.5 weeks ago. We are going to continue with our regular program of auctions, so you will be hearing from us again at the beginning of next quarter. In terms of, as I said, every country, every entity should know that they should be prepared to face U.S. sanctions. And no one is above this. We are going to hold everyone accountable, and this is economic asphyxiation of this regime. And Jennifer, as I said, no one should test our resolve.
No one should test our resolve. The sanctions are going to be facing are across 5 big areas, and those areas are crypto, tech, gold, aviation, and shipping. This is Secretary Scott Bessent.
The new sectoral sanctions determinations issued today target 5 of Iran's most vital lifelines that it exploits in other countries: digital assets, technology, gold, aviation, and shipping. These measures broaden secondary sanctions risk for anyone foolish enough to continue conducting business with this regime, and will accelerate the speed with which we pursue them. As I speak, Treasury's Office of Foreign Assets Control is also sanctioning over 60 entities, individuals, and vessels around the world that enable the Iranian regime to procure illicit nuclear and missile technology, conduct cyber operations, and generate oil revenue.
That was probably the biggest news-making moment from the entire press conference, where he laid out exactly who they're going to be targeting, and also the announcement there, which if you blink, you kind of missed it, that 60 entities have already been sanctioned. I don't have a list of the entities, but he mentioned that they're going to be ships and corporations and individuals, but 60 plus have already been sanctioned. What do you think about this? 615-737-9986. Is this the pathway to get out of the conflict with Iran? Do you think that this is the right move? I would prefer the sanctions over a restart of actual kinetic warfare, because I don't think that gets us any closer to getting out of the conflict. But I wonder what you think. Let's go to Jeff in Nashville. What's up, Jeff? How are you?
Yeah, I'd like to touch off on that if I could. Of course, I kind of feel we should go a little further. wish the UN would get involved and do some sanctions on them, and hit them hard too, I don't know why they're not doing anything.
What do you think is going to come of the sanctions, though? Do you think that this is, at the end of the day, going to work? Do you think that it is going to be kind of just a shot and a miss?
I think in the long run it'll work. I don't know about the short term, but it's kind of wait and see to me.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. I hope it works. I pray that it works. I'm not sure if it will. Your guess is as good as mine. If you want to join the conversation, 615-737-9986. Iran has threatened to treat support by any country for the Trump administration's newly launched global economic offensive as an act of war, vowing a response more decisive than ever. Is that saber rattling? Are they talking up a big game? Or is that something real? There is a country that has been good to us, the United Arab Emirates, but they've also taken the brunt of Iranian attacks, and Scott Bessent brought them up. I mean, when you look at the countries in the region, some of them are probably going to face some attacks from Iran over this, whether it's the UAE, whether it's Saudi Arabia. Scott Bessent was asked this directly.
You said you weren't going to name names, but there's been some reports that the United Arab Emirates is among some of the first nations to take seriously these words from the United States to cut off all business interactions with Iran. Is UAE leading the way in this respect?
I would think that the actions that they took last week were not coincident, but likely causal. And I would expect that we would see a broad array of countries taking similar actions as we continue our engagement. The UAE have been very good partners and have taken the brunt of the Iranian attacks in the Gulf. And what have these countries gotten over the years from appeasing Iran? They were subject to violent attacks. While we were bombing Iran, they were bombing them. So it shows that with this regime, appeasement does not work. And on the other side, with this regime, trying to buy appeasement will no longer work in the eyes of the United States of America. And I want to emphasize that we are spreading out across the world as we speak, that you will see a wave of sanctions when you leave this meeting today, and you should expect that cadence to continue. And I would expect that you will see a major announcement of a financial institution being sanctioned by the end of this week.
By the end of this week, Axios kind of hit the nail on the head with their headline. They said the sanctions hammer is hanging. That's kind of how it feels. And they hit another home run with their first line. President Trump's economic D-Day for Iran came and went Monday with little of the shock or awe it promised, amounting instead to yet another extended ultimatum. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent kicked off the operation by blacklisting more than 60 Iran-linked targets and widening the reach of secondary sanctions. Bessent declined to name specific countries or deadlines, saying the administration preferred quiet diplomacy before resorting to the hammer of U.S. Treasury actions. The real test is going to be China. We all know it, which accounts for roughly 90% of Iran's exported oil and remains one of the regime's most important economic lifelines. The Axios is reporting if Trump follows through on his threats, secondary sanctions could force Chinese banks, refiners, and shippers to choose between Iran and access to dollars, U.S. banks, and markets. Asked specifically whether China would be targeted, Bessent insisted that no one is above the reach of U.S. sanctions. After months of apocalyptic threats to bomb Iran into submission, Trump has turned to economic strangulation as his preferred strategy through the midterms. Will it make a difference for the midterms is a big question. Will we find peace with this country before the midterms? 615-737-9986 if you want to join the conversation. Terry, we'll get to your call on the other side. It's 9:52 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Matt Murphy with Super Talk 99.7 WTN, and this morning we are out and about at my house, my brand new house that I've been talking about on the radio, with Nate from USS. What's up, brother? How are you?
I'm excellent. How about you?
I'm doing well.
Good.
We invited Nate out. Now, obviously, when you're a new homeowner, especially when you buy a house that's got a few years on it, you don't know what you're dealing with in terms of foundation. And I know that Nate knows a lot more about what I don't see and what I don't know about than I do. So bring the experts out and get them to check out your house. Hey guys, Matt Murphy again with Nate with USS, and Nate has just wrapped up kind of a look at the house. And Nate, what'd you find?
Well, your house is in pretty good shape for the age of it. I had to look pretty hard to find.
Okay.
Your house being on a slope like it is here, I think we could do a lot of good by trying to terminate your downspouts a little further from the house there.
Okay.
Roof water is the killer of foundations, and so if we can just get it to a positive grade to drain away from your house, I think that's real cheap insurance.
You want to kind of get it out and downhill.
That's right. Yeah.
That's
So
the idea.
make sure that it doesn't come right back down towards the foundation walls and causing issues, settlement or leakage.
Now, if folks are watching this video and they are like, we need to get Nate out to the house to do a look. I mean, it took, I watched you do it. It's, 30, 45 minutes, something like that.
Yeah.
To do a comprehensive kind of an examination around the house. And they just give you a call and schedule?
Yeah, absolutely. You can call our main phone number, or you can call reach USSTN.com and schedule right through the website there. Our girls in the call center will get back to you just about immediately, as long as it's during business hours. So
this just makes a lot of sense, folks, for you guys to do an examination of your house like we've done, to check it out. I'm going to get those gutters done with Nate and his team at USS, and then we'll do a video and let you know how those look at the end of all of this. So thank you, guys.
Hey, that'd be great.
We appreciate you, brother.
Matt, we appreciate you.
Pete Hegseth speaking earlier. They've gathered all of the top generals in the entire world, brought them to Quantico and said, stop being fat and gay. Maybe I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but that's generally the message that we're getting.
No more identity months, DEI offices, dudes in dresses. No more climate change worship. No more division, distraction, or gender delusions. No more debris. We are done with that shit. Standards must be uniform, gender neutral, and high. Frankly, it's tiring to look out at combat formations, or really any formation, and see fat troops. Likewise, it's completely unacceptable to see fat generals and admirals in the halls of the Pentagon. But if the words I'm speaking today are making your heart sink, then you should do the honorable thing and resign.
Stop being so fat and so gay. Let's focus on the mission. If you can do the job, you're welcomed here. No matter your sexual orientation or your skin color, but we're getting back to merit.
Coming Coming up, a now famous surrogacy case is going to court today. We've got that coming up at 10 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Joan Jones in the newsroom. My name is Chris Hand. The show's brought to you by our friends at Better Water. If you need a water filtration system, you go to betterwater.com. Terry in the borough has been holding on the line with a thought on Iran and the sanctions. What's up, Terry?
Hey, yeah, good morning. I think we're not reading the tea leaves here. Iran's going down. That's already been decided. I mean, the end game is that. And that's already been talked about and implemented, and everybody knows it except for us. We're the last ones to know.
How are we the last ones to know that Iran's going to go down when we were kind of
the worst thing you could do is tell everybody what your intentions are. I mean, you don't want to tell everybody that. So all the chess pieces have been put into place, and they're going to go down. The other countries know that. They've already been told that.
I mean, I guess if I'm playing devil's advocate, my question would be, how are we the last ones to know, and our allies aren't getting involved?
The allies that we want involved are going to be involved, but they're not going to tell the American people what they've already decided. I mean, this is how you win. You put strategies together, you implement things, and then you execute those strategies, but you don't let everybody know what you're doing.
But I mean, if you're playing devil's advocate, we've been told that we've won how many times now? You know, we had the memorandum of understanding in there. That kind of fell apart. Yes. The Strait of Hormuz is still closed, and now we're doing the sanctions. Yep. I mean, how is this?
Go back to your original question. How come we haven't already done it, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's the reason we haven't already done it. You got to get your pieces together, get your game together before you do it. Okay, it's really simple stuff. I mean, it's
but do you worry? Do you worry that you're just trusting the plan? I mean, they originally said 4 to 6 weeks. We're now at like 3 days away from 6 months.
I think that they've done more with Iran in the last 6 months than that we've done in the last 20 years.
I mean, I think that's fair. I think that's fair. So you're full in on 4D chess.
Yeah, I'm thinking, hey, you're on a need-to-know basis, and you don't need to know. We're going to pull this thing off, and it's going to be done. And the countries that matter, like China and Russia and all these big players, they already know that the fix is in. We're going to take them down. I mean, they're going down.
Terry, I appreciate the call, man, and I appreciate your perspective. Thank you for that. On the way, we got some immigration updates. There's going to be a new ICE coordination facility, coordination center. What are they coordinating? Where are they going to be coordinating? It's going to be in Nashville, allegedly. Allegedly. We'll talk about it when we get back. It's 10 o'clock on Super Talk, 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. There are new clues about where that Immigration and Customs Enforcement Center would be located in Tennessee. Although initially thought to be in Adams in Robertson County, Fox 17 is reporting that federal records point to 801 Royal Parkway in Donaldson near the airport. It's part of State Rep Afton Bain's district, and she is blasting that project.
ICE has a history of not only killing American citizens, but also ripping families apart and including kidnapping a lot of my constituents, especially from the Hispanic part of my community in Madison. And Nashville has said time and time again that we do not want ICE and its mercenaries of terror to be engaged in their campaigns.
Now, her claims are unsubstantiated. The ICE Center would help coordinate state and local policing agencies from around the country who help ICE. A federal judge has just rejected Ghislaine Maxwell's latest effort to overturn her conviction. U.S. District Judge Paul Engelmeyer blasting the petition as lengthy and rambling and finding her claims are all meritless and frivolous. In his opinion, the judge also said that the evidence against Maxwell at trial was overwhelming. An Ohio man arrested this morning by the FBI after allegedly making graphic threats against Republican Congressman Randy Fine of Florida and calling for the death of President Trump. 26-year-old Alex Miller sent messages to Fine in which he called him and his family Nazis and said he would burn their house down and wouldn't stop until his head was hanging from the rooftops of the White House. The message ended with death to Randy Fine and death to Donald Trump. He faces 5 years in prison if convicted. The big transformation of Nashville's riverfront goes before a vote today. The board that oversees the plans for affordable housing and new businesses and also a new TPAC campus is considering how to fund those projects. Channel 4's Joylyn Bukovac.
The East Bank Development Authority is expected to consider funding for infrastructure all across this redevelopment plan. And the board will also vote on an agreement with TPAC for the design and construction of Victory Avenue. So that's a roadway tied to TPAC's future campus.
Metro Council would add $300 million to help with the project. And attorneys representing a surrogate mother from Alaska and the California couple who hired her will be in family court in Dallas today.
McKenna West has challenged the parental rights of Omar Ahmed and Nasheen Gilkar after they opted to terminate the pregnancy they hired her to carry out because the fetus had a serious heart defect. Instead, West came to Texas, a state that bans most abortions, and gave birth last week. A temporary restraining order keeps West from making any medical decisions about the infant. A family court judge is to decide whether that TRO stays in place. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
That's the latest news. We've got weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
It's 10:07 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by Better Water. Get yourself a water filtration system at betterwater.com. Do it for the frogs. If you won't do it for anybody else, do it for them. You can listen to us all over the place. iHeartRadio, tune in the FM dial. You can watch us on YouTube and Rumble. How's the YouTube chat doing today? Still unhinged? Let me check in. Still unhinged. We salute you for that. Sometimes the YouTube chat has something completely different going on. Have you noticed that? Just unrelated, but oftentimes based.
Most of the time.
We like them. We like them. They were talking about the Iran conflict, and Saunders said it's a total Charlie Foxtrot. That's kind of where I'm at. But it's like, no matter what, right, with the Iran stuff, you can take like a middle-of-the-road approach, like, okay, I'll be reasonable about it. I'll be patient. I'll figure, try and see where the tea leaves are pointing us, what's actually going on. And then you got people who are like, they already lost. And then you got other people yelling, you're an AIPAC shill. And then you got other people being like, trust Trump. It's like, all right. Okay. I'm both things at once.
Honestly, I'm glad we get multiple opinions like that, though, instead of it just being like
I would much rather
one way or the other.
Yes, I would much rather have it be divided. I'm pro Iran and pro AIPAC at the exact same time.
Anti-zoo, though.
Very, very anti-zoo. Why did they have to put the gift shop at the exit?
It's a trap.
It is.
Every time.
Is that a Star Wars reference?
It is now.
A $50 stuffed otter now depends on whether or not we had a good trip at the zoo.
It's to make memories and take $80,000 out of your pocket.
I wish that they would just put the data center there. Screw that snow leopard. Like, what do you mean? What could possibly be worse than spending your entire life in captivity anyway?
Being caged next to a data center?
I guess.
Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. What I do know is that we got an immigration coordination center coming. Joan talked about it a little bit in her newscast. I saw this on the news last night. I got a little excited. Got a little ginned up. I was like, ooh.
Give you goosebumps?
It did. Well, listen, we have a lot of office buildings that aren't being used.
True.
So that I feel like this is a good use of them. They say that the cubicle is a prison for your mind. Let's turn it into a prison for the illegal aliens.
Prison for your prison.
Let's do it. It's not going to be a detention center. That's the word on the street. Fox 17 was the first one that I saw to report it. I'm sure Joan would have broke it yesterday morning had she been here. But alas, we weren't blessed with that yesterday. We are today. Federal records, this is from Fox 17. Federal records are now providing clues about where a planned U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement Coordination Center could operate in Nashville as local leaders push back against the project. Everybody's so upset. Spoiler alert, in case you're keeping score at home, ICE already has field offices in Nashville, Chattanooga, and Knoxville, and there is already a detention center in Mason. So cry more, get upset, libs. This is happening, and I'm excited about it. They say the records appear to point to 801 Royal Parkway in Donaldson, an office building near the airport. However, ICE hasn't confirmed the address, and Fox 17 has not been able to independently confirm that the center will operate from that building. DHS awarded Koniag Services a contract to provide support for an ICE Enforcement and Removal Operation 287G National Coordination Center. The 287G program allows state and local law enforcement agencies to enter into agreements with ICE and perform certain immigration enforcement functions under federal oversight, Fox 17 reports. The center itself would not be a detention facility, and it is not intended to house detainees. Rats. ICE has said the Public Safety Coordination Center would operate around the clock and provide 287G partners nationwide with real-time operational support, case-related guidance, and direct access to ICE resources. Federal spending records show approximately $17.5 million is currently obligated under the contract, while the potential award amount exceeds $63 million. And they say that everything is pointing towards Donaldson. The project's place of performance was previously listed as Adams, Tennessee, before federal records were updated to Nashville. It remains unclear why the location has changed. The Nashville place of performance listed in federal records includes the zip code 37214 3749. Fox 17 found that 9-digit zip code appears to correspond with 801 Royal Parkway in Donaldson. Fox 17 News contacted the property management company for 801 Royal Parkway to ask whether their plans were to operate the center from the property. The company has not confirmed the location. They also reached out directly to Cognac for additional, is it Cognac? I think it's Cognac, for additional information about the potential location and the change from Adams to Nashville. ICE has declined to confirm whether 801 Royal Parkway or any other specific Nashville property will house that center. The agency has said it does not confirm new or current office locations, citing what it describes as a coordinated campaign of violence against ICE officers. When they reported that on Fox 17 last night, they were like, what they describe. And it's like, no. Like, that's actually what happens. I don't know if you know this. Maybe it got memory hold too quickly, but there was literally an ICE facility that was open fire on in Texas, less than a year ago. You see what happens outside the immigration detention centers in New Jersey. Chaos. You've seen it. I mean, you've seen it all over the country. I could list example after example, but we've all seen it. And they'll say, oh, no, these poor Americans are getting gunned down in the street. Yeah, after they try to run over ICE agents with their cars. So it is what it is. Nashville's favorite beta, Mayor Freddie O'Connell, weighed in and said Metro officials are also seeking answers. We share those same questions. We don't know much, O'Connell said when asked about the reported change from Adams to the Donaldson area. Fox 17 also found 29 job postings on the website connected to the operation in Nashville. The openings include a range of analysts, dispatch, management, and other positions with different jobs requiring varying levels of federal security clearance. You looking for work? 29 open positions. What would you do for your country? This could be a great job for you. The postings offer another look at the potential scope of an operation ICE says is intended to support the 287G partnerships across the country. Fox continues, local opposition grows. There's a lot of opposition. The prospect of the center operating in Nashville is already generating opposition from elected officials and immigration advocacy groups. Afton Bain, she's popping up again. Her district, 51, includes the area. She said she's heard from constituents across party lines who oppose the project. Find me a Republican that opposes the project. Find me a conservative that opposes ICE coordination centers. I think, listen, if we're being honest with each other, I think you could probably find conservatives that oppose detention facilities near their home. But find me a conservative that would oppose a coordination center at an empty office building near the airport. Can anybody, is there anyone out there? Can you hear me? If you oppose this, call in 615-737-9986, because Afton Bain says that, Democrats and Republicans are calling her. They're very upset. They oppose the project. She said, and I quote, I've heard from innumerable constituents across party lines that they don't want this. So neither Republicans nor Democrats want this in my district. Find me a conservative who doesn't want this in their district, and make sure that it's been explained to them that this is not a detention facility. This is a coordination center. These two things are not the same. And then ask that same conservative Republican if they oppose it. Again, I could honestly see, and it wouldn't shock me if there was a conservative that was like, I don't really want a detention center near my home. Much the same way I don't think a conservative might want a prison down the block. But a coordination center? I have a hard time believing that there would be any Republicans, any conservatives in the area that would frown upon that. Unless their concern is radical, rabid, leftist, lunatic protesters outside that facility every single day. Because that's probably what's going to happen. Bain says she's working with Metro Council members and community groups as they consider what options may be available to oppose the project. When asked whether state or local government could actually prevent a federal contractor from operating the center from a privately owned property, Bain acknowledged her authority as a state legislator is limited. Can't do nothing. Can't deal with it. Hashtag deal with it. She said, I'm in the state legislature, so unfortunately my hands are a bit tied as to how to prevent this project from happening. Sorry. They'll cry, they'll moan, they'll complain, but there's nothing that they can do. Nothing. The Tennessee Immigrant and Refugee Rights Coalition is also opposing the center. Color me shocked. I thought the Tennessee Immigrant and Refugee Rights Coalition would be all for something like this. These organizations, you can always tell. You could probably dictate their positions. You would know what they are. They don't have to tell you what their positions are. You can figure it out for yourself. Callie Van Cleve with the organization said opponents fear a national coordination center supporting 287G agreements will contribute to increased immigration enforcement. No kidding. That's literally the point. Isn't that literally the point? You know, my big fear here would be that this would lead to more deportations. Yeah, that's the goal. That would be a job well done. Pat on the back. Give that man a medal. That's it. That's kind of the thought process. ICE, however, describes the project as a public safety coordination center intended to strengthen support and communication with state and local law enforcement agencies participating in 287G. For now, exactly where that operation will be based remains unconfirmed, reports Fox 17. 615-737-9986. Ray in Knox wants to talk about the ICE facility. What's up, Ray? How are you?
I'm doing good. I just want to say that I'm all for it, okay, because, years ago, we didn't even know about anything about ICE, and until Biden got in office and he opened up the borders, so now that's why we got to have ICE to remove these people and take them back to their countries and all that. So I'm all for it. And we got an ICE detention center here in Knoxville, and I'm glad we do because it makes me feel safer knowing that they're doing their job to get rid of some of these immigrants that have came over here. So
yeah, you guys have a field office in Knoxville, if I'm not mistaken. But I mean, when they say that conservatives are pushing back on this, like Afton Bain said that conservatives are pushing back on this, I'm like, I could understand why you would push back against the detention center. Not wanting a prison near your home. I can actually understand that argument. But a coordination center, what's the issue?
Your guess is good as mine, Chris. I mean, I really don't know. I don't know what their deal is. I mean, they need to realize that, you can't let these people that wants to commit crimes, wants to do bad things, you can't let these people get away with that. So, I don't know. Your guess is good as mine.
I'm with you 100%. Ray, I appreciate the call, man. Call in anytime.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. There's one comment on the Fox 17 article, and I was wondering what it would say. I read the article last night, but I didn't read the comments. And then I was scrolling down and it said one comment. And I was like, okay, is this going to be a leftist? What is it, right? Do you want to know what the comment is? It's actually brilliant.
Hit me.
I think they should name it the Afton Bain Ice Center just to make her feel special.
You think she'll turn her tune?
I think that it should be the Afton Bain Ice Center. We should refer to it as that moving forward.
I support this.
The Afton Bain Ice Center coming to Donaldson. It's probably the only way that she'd get her name on a building in Nashville.
Yeah, probably.
You know what I mean? It's probably the only way that she would be celebrated in the state of Tennessee. The Afton Bain Ice Center. Jeff in Donaldson, real quick, what do you think about the ICE facility?
I live probably less than a mile from there, and I have to say I'm kind of excited about it.
Let's go.
And I would not even care if it was a detention facility, just for the pure fact I could go over there and make fun of and possibly help protect the ICE agents from the lunatics that will probably be there.
Yeah.
I think that would be very enjoyable.
I don't think you're in the minority. I think there are a lot of conservatives that would take the detention center as well. I'm just saying, like, if we're actually looking at it, like, and you're going to push back against something, I could see a conservative pushing back against that. Like, I don't really want that near my house because of the chaos that will come with it. But when we're talking about field offices or coordination centers, it's like, what's the issue?
I don't think it even matters to them. It's just, it doesn't matter to them what it is. They're going to gripe about it no matter what.
Yeah, I'm with you. Jeff, I appreciate the call. Call in anytime, man. It's 1022. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand for my friends at the Glock Store, and Force on Force training is back at the Glock Store. What is Force on Force training? Well, let me run through the bullet points, and we'll explain it all to you. It's happening on Saturday, September 19th. 2 classes available, 9:30 a.m. and 2 o'clock p.m. 15 slots per class. They're selling out fast, so you need to take advantage of this, and you need to take advantage of it quickly. Okay, what exactly is Force on Force training? I've had the opportunity to do it myself. Let me explain it to you. It begins with a briefing on Tennessee laws and the event parameters, such as the safe word. You're going to need a safe word, and then you're thrown into an intense, realistic live-action scenario. It's not just to test your marksmanship and how well you use your firearm. It's also to test your brain. When to use your firearm. When are you legally justified to use lethal force? That's what this is all about. You'll be put into 2 different scenarios. My scenario was a home invasion, or at least that's kind of what I was walking into thinking. The lights were off inside the private shooting room. They said, Chris, you get home, it's late at night, your front door's ajar. Figure it out. That's how I went into the scenario. 2 guys were in my home. Anyways, I started blasting. Was I legally justified to do so? That's what you learn in the Force on Force training. You need to take this course. You are going to be blessed by this course. Again, only 15 slots available per session. There's way less at this point. 9:30 a.m. and 2 o'clock p.m. on Saturday, September 19th. Go to glockstore.com/FOF to book your session today. glockstore.com/FOF.
The guaranteed offer is the simplest, least stressful way to sell your home. You go to our website, you fill out a quick form, we set an appointment, we bring you an all-cash offer. Literally, there's no lockbox on the front of your house, there's no showings, we pay all cash, we close in as little as 21 days, stress-free. We've helped thousands of homeowners just like you sell your home the hassle-free way with a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate.
Has the music been on for a minute?
No, I just started.
All right, perfect. Sorry.
You're good.
I got caught in a conversation in the hallway.
It's okay.
It's 1028, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by our friends at Better Water. I got a text here from 1989. He said, I'm Hispanic. I live in Madison, and none of my family or friends have been kidnapped. Not yet. Sorry.
Well, hold on.
What? I'm kidding, obviously.
Obviously.
Thank you. We appreciate you guys listening, however you're listening. People like the idea of the Afton Baines Center of Detention. It would be a coordination center. It's not even going to be a detention center. I know, it feels like a letdown. Doesn't that feel like a little bit of a letdown?
Just a little bit.
But, we'll take what we can get. The 287G programs are huge. Hey, do you know what else is going on that's going to be huge? Trump and Rubio are preparing to revoke as many as 200,000 visas, both business and tourism, of foreigners seeking asylum, which they're saying it could be the largest revocation of visas in U.S. history. I'm here for it. On top of that, they're talking about increasing the price on H-1B visas while they're investigating fraud into the H-1B visa system. We also have some comments from Tom Homan coming out. They are enforcing a lot of ICE operations. It's ramping up, especially in areas like Los Angeles. We'll get to that on the way as well. A lot of stories to talk about, a lot of stories that are being ignored by the mainstream media as well that we'll get to on the way. Anything you want to talk about? 615-737-9986. It's 10:30. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. The Supreme Court has allowed President Trump's executive order on mail-in ballots to continue. It would allow the Postal Service to deny mail-in ballots if a voter doesn't show up on voter rolls maintained by Homeland Security.
The Post Office would have substantial oversight. The Post Office is a federal agency, would have substantial oversight on how they deliver the mail and how they define the delivery of mail with ballots.
That's Christian Gross, director of the USC Democracy and Fair Election Lab. New York Attorney General Letitia James says she's exploring new legal options. The search continues for the person who shot a 16-year-old Cameron Frierson, killed at a football game Friday night. Now, this man tells Channel 4 that he thought he was hearing after-game fireworks.
After I realized that must have been a gunshot, that felt like 5 to 10 bullets.
Nashville police say they're following some leads, but no suspect has been named yet in the shooting at Pearl Cone High School. The State Department set to announce that it will revoke business and tourism visas issued between 2016 and 2026 for people who have since sought asylum. It could affect up to 200,000 foreigners and would be the largest single mass revocation of visas in U.S. history. President Trump is at it again. His latest renaming effort comes to another body of water. The president considering renaming Lake Ontario to Lake America, since he says we don't expect to be doing much business with Ontario any longer, referring, of course, to the tariff war between Canada and the United States. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends at the Wellness Institute of Nashville. Dr. Mitchell, Dr. Ashley, celebrating 20 years this year. 20 years of changing lives, 20 years of innovation, 20 years of helping Middle Tennessee feel better naturally, without painful injections, without surgeries, and without writing prescriptions for opioids. You can join the celebration at the Wellness Institute of Nashville as Dr. Mitchell marks the big 20th year with Pioneer Days and Technology Ways. To celebrate, they're going to let you save some money. The Big 20 gives you 50. You get 50% off non-surgical spinal decompression treatment, and then you can discover why patients across Tennessee trust Dr. Mitch and Dr. Ashley for answers and real relief. If you're suffering from sciatica, neuropathy, spinal stenosis, bulging discs, neck pain, back pain, tingling or weakness in your arms or legs, you got to find out what's going on, and you're going to find out real quick why you didn't go to the Wellness Institute of Nashville in the last 2 decades. These guys aren't going to settle for guesswork. They'll look at your tests, your MRIs, your exams. They'll review it thoroughly so you can understand exactly what's causing your pain. From there, you'll experience today's most advanced healing technologies: spinal decompression, robot lasers, hydrowave stem cell simulation, anti-gravity therapy, custom orthotics, and the Medical Bay One machine that offers interactive healing. Call 615-246-5009 or go to painisbad.com. That's 615-246-5009 or painisbad.com. Dr. Mitchell and Dr. Ashley at the Wellness Institute of Nashville have my seal of approval always, all day. Painisbad.com. Thirty-seven minutes past the hour. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? I'm Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. I did it again, didn't I? They signed on for another year. And then they said, please don't say the LLC anymore. And it's like a work in progress.
Reclaiming my time.
Betterwater.com.
There we go.
Betterwater.com. Thank you. I was making a list
Checking it twice?
Yes, actually. Well, I had a lot of people that wanted to join our meme chat. And I've been lazy. I think I'll be honest. And so
here's a lot going on.
Well, because I have to, it's just not easy, right? Like, you got to type in everybody's, actual Instagram name to add them.
Yeah, you can't just grab them from.
So I have to, make a list and then add everybody individually.
Yep.
So everybody that's been wanting to join the meme chat that we have on Instagram, the top secret offensive meme chat.
Yep.
I'm going to be adding some people during the next commercial break. So if you want to join our offensive meme chat, find me on Instagram at Chris Hand on Air. I just sent a pretty good one. It's pretty good. It's a guy's playing horse. And he said, the guy went, "That's an H, right-handed only." And then he turns to his buddy who doesn't have an arm.
Doesn't have a right arm.
Yeah. It's pretty good.
He goes, "I was in the war."
He's like, "Dude, I was in the war." Like, oh no, it's terrible. It's terrible. This is the kind of stuff that and that's one of the safe ones.
That's a tame one.
That's pretty tame. So, at Chris Hand on Air on Instagram if you want to join the meme chat. It's fun. We like the meme chat. I got a couple people waiting on the line that want to talk about immigration. They want to talk about Islam. So we'll get to both of these calls, Lisa and Eric. Let's start with Lisa in Brentwood. What's up, Lisa? How are you?
Hi, big listener here, and I'm all for getting the bad guys out, the ones that cause all the trouble. But let me tell you, this thing with these Muslims, it is really scary. Because give them an inch and they're taking a mile. They've already built foot washing stations in the Houston airport with their prayer rooms. Did y'all know that?
I want to say that those got shut down, but I do believe that they were trying to do that.
Well, I looked it up. I mean, they showed it. They showed them on the news. So, I mean, I don't want to report the wrong thing, but
no, it was definitely a news story. And I want to say that Greg Abbott shut it down.
I hope so. But, you know, them in our Congress, they should have never been allowed to be in any form of our government. And it's terrible what's going on in Dearborn and Plano, Texas, McKinney, Texas.
Yep, I agree.
It needs to be stopped. It needs to be stopped.
Yeah, I'm with you, and I appreciate the call, Lisa. Just to confirm, Greg Abbott did shut that down. Almost 2 weeks ago. This was talking about the foot washing stations at, she said Houston Airport, so maybe it's still going on at Houston Airport, but Greg Abbott shut them down at the Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport.
On it, Israel, we know of at least two that exist in the Dallas area. We're looking broader in Dallas County as well as Collin County, which is right next to Dallas. And that's why I sent the letter to officials both in Dallas and Collin counties to urge them to take action to root out any Sharia courts. And I am deploying the Texas Department of Public Safety to also root out any Sharia courts anywhere in the state of Texas.
That's an old clip that was attached to it. Here's the news. It said Texas Governor Greg Abbott just intervened to block Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport from placing Islamic foot washing stations in the bathrooms, declaring it illegal, considering grant revocation and referring it to the Trump administration. It says DFW plans to install Islamic wudu washing facilities are illegal. I've directed a review of all state grants to both airports for possible revocation. And refer Dallas-Fort Worth and IAH. That's IAH is Houston, I believe, to U.S. Department of Transportation for investigation. Texas will not allow illegal religious discrimination at taxpayer-funded facilities. So, you know, just take that with a grain of salt. Who knows if it's done yet, but they are aware and they're working on it. Eric in White House, what's up, man? How are you?
Doing well. I know y'all are doing well. I'm kind of on the heels of what she said. I was just curious. I haven't really heard anything yet, and we probably won't because it seems like they're focused where they should be first with criminals as far as roundups and the ICE. But when you look at what the lady just commented on, it's gone on for years now, probably 30 or more, where they have communities of nothing but Muslims, people that follow Islam and whatnot in their laws. has there been, will there be any raids in those areas? Because, they're going to have probably as many, if not more people here illegally, but because they're not criminals or acting as criminals, they're not being found. And just like the example with that Jake Lang, and I don't know his status now other than they arrested him in Minnesota, and he's the one that goes and puts a sign up, but then they attack him, and there's just no accountability. Do they have, their own legal country status now as far as our government is concerned, that they can't be touched? Because it seems like anyone that would go in there would stir up a hornet's nest.
I get your frustration, but they have been in places like Minnesota. I mean, they've been in those neighborhoods. That's a lot of the fraud that they're dismantling are in those Muslim networks in Minnesota. So it's like,
nice.
I get where you're coming from, and I sense the frustration, but I would say that they're going after all illegal aliens, up to and including Muslims. You're not getting a free pass because of your religious background.
Awesome. Appreciate you, sir.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you calling anytime. I do know that the Trump administration, they are working on the largest revocation of visas in U.S. history. This is the story that we're getting, and the Associated Press is reporting it. The Associated Press very upset. It's very, very hateful, very hurtful stuff, but I'm excited about it. They say the Trump administration is preparing to revoke business and tourism visas of up to 200,000 foreigners who have applied for or are currently seeking asylum status to stay in the United States. And if it happens, the move would be the largest single mass revocation of visas in U.S. history and would likely face legal challenges. But I don't know how you challenge that. The United States can issue the visa, so the United States can revoke the visa. But we'll see what they do. Unless challenged or revised, the State Department is expected to announce in the coming weeks the revocation of so-called B1 and B2 visas issued between 2016 and 2026, whose holders have sought asylum or are now seeking asylum, according to the State Department documents obtained by the Associated Press and two U.S. officials. The action will be taken in coordination with the Department of Homeland Security. We are coordinating with DHS to identify and revoke the non-immigrant visas of foreigners who have come to the United States claiming to be short-term visitors, but then file for asylum to stay here permanently, the State Department spokesman said. That's Tommy Pigott. He declined to comment on the number of visas that might be revoked, saying as the process will be ongoing, the number of revocations remains dynamic and will be on a rolling basis. The revocations would not necessarily result in their immediate deportation, the official said. Most of those with asylum cases currently pending would be recategorized, but would lose their status as a business or tourism traveler, according to the officials who spoke on condition of anonymity because the revocations are not final yet. I'm excited about this, I'm not gonna lie. If you came here and you said, I'm coming here on a tourist visa, or you're coming here on a work visa, and then immediately change your tune once your feet touch the soil of the United States, wouldn't that be considered coming to the United States under false pretenses? It feels like it would be. I don't know how you challenge this. There obviously will be challenges. There are activist judges that would challenge President Trump if he wanted to put mustard on a hot dog instead of ketchup on a hot dog. They're out there. So there will be challenges. But I'm looking forward to see where this goes. Let's go to our friend Brian on the road. What's up, Brian? How are you?
What's up, brother? I'm headed towards your home place on 24, your favorite interstate. Hey, you drive a Tesla, bro. You know what that lady said? Can I say this on the radio? I'm going to get on your ass about driving one of them and giving Mason so much crap about that ticket. I got one of those about a year ago. It cost $60. It did put some points on, I think. But I'm a driver, for what I do right now. Hey, I'd like
I'm taking umbrage with your defense of young Mason. He's got to learn. He's got to learn these lessons. And he has to be willing to skip out on court for a radio bit. And I just can't have you. I can't have you calling into the show as a reasonable voice of support for Mason. It's just I love you, Brian, but this will be the last call if this kind of behavior continues.
Okay. Well, I know for a fact one of us, if not both of us, can take you. So don't be getting too big for your britches.
Well, all right. I'll take that too.
All right. Hey, I'm calling in to apply as a volunteer to run the ice facility.
This is the Afton Bain Ice Coordination Center that is being proposed near the airport.
And I will provide shirts to all the employees so we can walk around with Afton's name on our shirt with one of those big red things that's got the slash through it.
Yes, sir.
And that'll be on. I saw Canner Freedom the other day. He had a Nike.
Whoa! What do you mean he? Don't be misgendering, Miss Cantor.
Okay, right. You're right. You're right. He, she, it, whatever he is, he had a big red X on the Nike symbol, and I loved it because I used to be a big Nike clothing guy, and I have turned my back on them too. So
they say that's why he got blackballed from the NBA, because he spoke out about Nike bending the knee to China every opportunity they get, and the amount of money that's passed between hands between Nike and the NBA.
Well, I don't know if you saw that shot, but it was I loved it. I told my wife, I said, look, somebody put a red X on that Nike swoosh, and, I'm thinking it's he or him or her or whoever did it.
It's her now. It's her now.
It looked professionally done. I loved it. Also, let's shut this mug down and declare a state of emergency. And what is Abbott bragging about shutting down the foot washing when he allowed it took forever. Don't tell me that those politicians didn't go through that airport in Houston and didn't see what they were building and go, I wonder what they're building.
Mm-hmm.
And then they let them build it, and then he said, I'll shut it down. See, the problem is you let that stuff happen. So all that money was expended. Well, I'm sure those taxpayers are happy about it.
And you can make the argument that Abbott is just practicing problem reaction solution. Let the problem happen. That way he can be the guy that provides the solution and then be a hero.
100%. Unlike our president, who is not perfect. And I'm a little pissed at him right now because he doesn't do things. I want to see something done, like you said. I want to see. Did you see what Navarro? He was on the other night on one of the shows, and he wrote a book about Fauci rotting in prison. Have you heard about that book?
I have not heard about the book, but I like Peter Navarro a lot.
I do too. But because he's a worker, he's down in the weeds, and he knows from what he speaks. And Trump likes him too. Of course, he spent I don't know how long. He got out, I think, on the inauguration night or something like that.
Yeah, he spent a lot of time in jail.
Well, we need people like that. I mean, he's a patriot, I mean, and we need to put the people in jail in this term so that we can say, yeah, we will. Enforce the freaking law, dude.
Amen.
I mean, quit talking about it and do it. Now, as far as a forever war over there in Iran, I'm not for a forever war, but you know what? The Bible is a forever war book. It's forever good against evil, right?
Yep.
Pretty much, if you want to sum it up. Why wouldn't we be willing to stay in this, if that's what it takes, forever against Iran? It won't take that long, I don't think. But we keep letting them out of the hatch after we bury them, and then or their proxies, their cowardly Houthis and Hezbollah and Hamas. They fight us through that because China's probably funding that now.
Yep.
So it's a bunch of crap going on out there. Let's shut it down. Just declare emergency. Appoint Brian to be the ICE office manager over at 801, whatever it is in Donaldson. I used to work in that building.
Royal Parkway, 801 Royal Park. Brian, I'd vote for you. I would.
All right, bro. I'm going to run. Mason, you get me some stickers to put on that Tesla.
I'll see what I can find.
All right. Appreciate the call. Hey, on the way, H-1B visa price increase. How much is it going to make a difference? We'll talk about it. It's 10:51. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Times are tough. Absolutely, I agree. Now, if you need a new truck or a minivan, maybe an SUV, Mid-10 Ford, they can help you out with great selection, terrific pricing as well. Mid-10 Ford, they've been around for 56 years, since 1969, helping people get the vehicle that is right for them. They can help you save $1,000 or more on select Ford trucks. They also offer special financing as well if you need it. Now, Mid-10 Ford, I like to say that they're a one-stop shop. You can buy your vehicle there at Mid-10 Ford. You can get it serviced. They have a body shop as well. So you want a brand new or a pre-owned vehicle, you can check out all of the great deals at their website, mid10fordtrucks.com. That's mid10fordtrucks.com. They offer low-pressure sales, maximum customer service if you show up at their business, 1319 Foster Avenue. This is a family-owned business going back 4 generations. So, yeah, they do know how to treat customers. So let them help you get into your next vehicle. Again, low-pressure sales, maximum customer service. Find them online, mid10fordtrucks.com. That's mid10fordtrucks.com. Let their family take care of your family.
All right, drivers in Brentwood, we've got a stalled vehicle right shoulder block, 65 southbound before Concord Road. Then I-40 eastbound off-ramp to Fessler's Lane. There's a stalled vehicle blocking the off-ramp's left lane there. New research on pro football players and brain injuries to tell you about at 11 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Ken Weaver in the newsroom. My name is Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by our friends at Better Water. Have you seen the memes when it comes to Lindsey Clancy? Have you seen this? Where they say, oh, if you support Lindsey Clancy, then I can support Chris Benoit. He's a pro wrestler who had a brain injury, murdered his family. People are sick that are doing the Lindsey Clancy stuff.
Stop it. Get some help.
You see the one guy, he sent a group chat he was going to get married in 2 weeks. He sent a group chat to all of his boys, all of his family, all of her girls, all of her family. And he said, she is showing support for Lindsay Clancy on TikTok, so I'm running away right now. It's like,
I don't blame him.
It's probably a good call, dude.
Making the right move.
Probably a good call. The more I watch it, the more I find myself on the other side of the Salem witch trials. I think maybe those guys were onto something. I do. I can't help it. H-1B visa prices are going up. DHS is proposing a $103,265. Let's be real. Let's get the numbers right. $103,265 fee on cap subject H-1B petitions. That's the core of the story. The Department of Homeland Security put out a proposed rule on Monday that would charge employers $103,265 for each new H-1B worker who falls under the annual statutory cap. That cap is 85,000 visas a year, which is 65,000 regular, 20,000 for people with a U.S. master's or higher. The money is supposed to cover federal costs of running the legal immigration system, adjudication, vetting, immigration courts, Labor Department, wage work, State Department processing, ICE, and CBP instead of taxpayers covering it. But this is the administration's second try on doing this. And it also, there's got to be a part of it that would de-incentivize the individuals hiring the H-1B visa workers. Last September, Trump tried to impose a $100,000 charge by proclamation. From there, a Boston federal judge, Leo Sorokin, struck it down as an illegal tax that only Congress can levy. So activist judges got in the way. The new version is written as a formal regulation and cost recovery fee rather than a proclamation. Universities, hospitals, research institutions that are cap exempt would not pay it. Existing visa holders, renewals, and many people already in the U.S. on student visas also appear to be outside this particular fee, but companies would pay $103,000 on top of the usual filing fees with no guarantee the petition gets approved. Comment period is for 30 days once the rule hits the Federal Register, which is expected today. The administration has said the point is to stop companies from using the program to undercut American workers with cheap foreign labor and to make employers think harder about hiring and training Americans first. Tech and computer jobs make up the bulk of these H-1B approvals. That's the proposal. Now, whether it survives the comments, the lawsuits, the same legal arguments that killed the last version of this, that's the next fight. But kudos and credit where credit is due. They are fighting the fight. It's 11 o'clock. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
$11 o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast in 5 minutes. Right now in Middle Tennessee, Channel 4 says a young girl was struck and killed by a dump truck in Coffee County this morning. Authorities say it happened near the intersection of Country Club Drive and Kings Lane in Tullahoma. It was just a few blocks away from school, Robert E. Lee Elementary, but where she was going is not clear. The Highway Patrol is working with local agencies to investigate. Canadian officials announcing new details on its retaliatory tariffs against the U.S. in response to President Trump imposing a 50% tariff on some Canadian goods. ABC News White House correspondent Karen Travers.
Effective September 8th, Canada is going to put in place tariffs of 15%, 25%, and 50% on some American goods going across the border into Canada. And they're effectively going to be matching those tariffs that the United States applied to the same goods. Now, they say it's not going to be exactly a perfect match, match of product for product, but it will be similar. So that means we're going to see a 50% counter tariff on things like steel and aluminum. They had previously been subjected to a 25% tariff. We'll also see a 50% tariff on things like furniture, clothing, and apparel, and tariffs will also apply to some food products as well.
New research on pro football players and brain injuries. Here's Wayne Cabot.
This analysis of more than 300 NFL players who donated their brains to science finds 93.2% had evidence of CTE. The British Medical Journal study extrapolates that to probably 1 in 4 of all former NFL players who died between 2016 and 2021. Among brain donors, 90.4% of those with the most severe CTE had dementia. Often that wasn't captured on death certificates, suggesting the problem is way worse than thought. Asked for comment by ESPN, the NFL said it's continuously working on strategies to reduce concussions and head impacts. Wayne Cabot, ABC News.
Here in Nashville, 44 people have been arrested in a drug and gun sting in Nashville. Braden Busick is the U.S. Attorney for the Middle District of Tennessee, and in a press conference yesterday, he said Metro Nashville Police worked with the ATF on the bust.
The ATF conducted a 3-year study of shots fired, shooting incidents, and information from the National Integrated Ballistics Information Network, or NIBIN, and then had another ATF office in another state review their data to identify target zones without regard to socioeconomic or demographic features. Using just the data about where illegal guns were hitting the city the hardest, the ATF then identified enforcement zones and conducted undercover operations to try to neutralize the threats to public safety.
Yeah, we're talking about places like Harding Place in the 24 corridor, Bell Road, Murfreesboro Pike area, Brick Church Pike, Trinity Lane corridor. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
It's 11:07 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water. You can listen to us anywhere. iHeartRadio, tune in the FM dial. You can watch us on YouTube and Rumble. Hit like, hit subscribe. Do you know what I'm doing during the commercial breaks? Sometimes people accidentally text the text line because we were the last person that they had texted, but then they have like everyday problems. So I solve those everyday problems.
You do solve them or you attempt to?
I at least try. I give it a good old college try.
That's all you can ask for.
Believe it or not, some of my favorite texts that I get on the super text line are texts that are not meant for me, so I can just jump in and help. So 7679 sent a picture of a USB, and he's like, do you have something to convert this into a C connector? I said, you can find a ton of options on Amazon cheap, and I sent him a link.
Solving one crisis at a time.
He said, oh, sorry, you're not my wife, Chris. Sorry, man. God bless you. I'm just here to help. I want to be an added bonus in your life. And if you got a random problem, you can send it to the text line.
We're here to help.
We'll try and fix it. We absolutely will. We'll give the best advice we can.
Or we'll talk about it on the show.
All right. What do we got going on? You paying attention to anything? We talked about the H-1B visa price going up. It should go up. I don't think $103,000 is enough to de-incentivize these companies from hiring foreign labor that will be cheaper than Americans, right? If a job pays an American $100,000 and they can hire an illegal alien for $70,000, then that illegal, or I say illegal alien, it would be legal. That's probably not the right terminology. I'm used to saying illegal alien. If they hire an approved alien for that job to come in, and they pay him $70,000 for a job that they would have to pay $100,000 for an American worker, they only have to work for 5 years to recoup that investment. I think it should be higher. I think it should be increasingly expensive to farm out your labor to non-Americans to save a buck. And I don't think it should just be increasingly expensive in year one or year two. I think it should be increasingly expensive for like a decade. Is that fair? I think that's fair. There's a lot of fraud in the H-1B visa program, and everybody knows it. There's a lot of fraud everywhere in this country, believe it or not. And the Labor Department has launched some investigations on the H-1B visa program. This was reported a while ago, but the investigations are ongoing, and I think it's important to highlight.
Anti-fraud effort, the Labor Department's Inspector General, Anthony D'Esposito, now leading a major investigation into H-1B and perm employment visas, as well as potential human trafficking cases. Joining me now, the man leading the investigation, U.S. Department of Labor Inspector General, Anthony D'Esposito. Inspector General, great to have you. Welcome.
Great to be with you, Maria. Thanks for having me.
Well, this sounds very serious. Tell us about your investigation. Are you saying that there is fraud and human trafficking within the H-1 visa program and the program that is the Program Electronic Review Management, or PERM system?
Without a doubt, and we are going to take an aggressive action, what we believe is probably the most aggressive action against foreign labor fraud by an Inspector General this administration. We've already started to issue dozens of subpoenas. We are going to make sure that we track down every lead. We have whistleblowers talking about some of the biggest companies like Cognizant, who have been in chatter of issues with PERM and H-1B visas, and we are going to work side by side with the President and Vice President's fraud task force to exhaust every lead. I'm going to take this exactly like I did when I was an NYPD detective, and I'm going to give and make sure my investigators and auditors have every resource necessary.
Based. Get them out. Throw them out into the cold. No coat. That coat stays here.
Get them out. Throw them out into the cold. Don't give them their coat. No coat.
Yeah, no coats. Please, no coats.
Oh, my.
I just think that's fair.
I agree.
People are now texting in random things. Hey, babe, I just pooped my pants. The beans touched the tortilla. Just kidding. Just kidding, guys. I love you guys on the super text line. So, yes, go after the H-1B visa fraud. Go after everything you possibly can. It's making it more expensive for all of us. It's taking away jobs from American workers, and then you're bringing more people in, and then we got to compete with them for rent, for housing. They get on the benefits. The benefits run out. They are going to run out if we don't get the fraud under control. Do everything that you possibly can. Everything. Exhaust every resource. And ICE, in the meantime, they're stepping up immigration enforcement operations. This guy, they stormed Los Angeles the other day. I guess define storm. But they found a guy. Fox was riding along with them, the ICE operators. And they found a guy who's like, I'm going to sneak back in, by the way. It's like, I don't know. Not while this guy's president. He had already been deported 4 times, and he refuses to self-deport.
In Los Angeles this week, Fox News was granted exclusive access. One of the illegal immigrants, 43-year-old Ernesto Alejandro Perez Garcia. He's been forcefully removed 4 times, has a lengthy criminal history dating back to 2003. He says drinking is the, quote, mistake that led him to getting caught, saying it was just a matter of time.
If you knew it was going to happen, did you ever think about just self-deporting, going back to Mexico?
No, because I don't got nothing over there. Even though my mama and pops are over there, I don't got nothing over there. I go over there, they think I'm from here, and I get treated differently. You know what I mean? So why go through it?
ICE also arrested 2 criminal illegals who were detainers who were not honored by law enforcement, along with 4 additional aliens.
Get him out. Like, honestly, like, am I supposed to feel bad for this guy? I go over there and they say I'm not from here, but my mom and dad live there. You should just live with your mom and dad. Figure it out. Become one with your home country. You shouldn't be here in the first place. You have a lengthy rap sheet. You've snuck into the country 4 times. I have no sympathy for people like this. None whatsoever. So we just allow him to just stay in the country indefinitely? Should we give this kind of guy a pathway to citizenship because he doesn't know anywhere else? No, I don't subscribe to that whatsoever. It's a ridiculous take. There are Republicans that want to give these people pathways to citizenship. No, that's the wrong move. I honestly think we're past the point of targeting the worst first. I think it should be everybody, up to and including your abuela who sells tamales on the side of the freeway. All of these illegal aliens should be removed. But they'll say you're targeting people. You're targeting people based on their skin color. Angie Nixon, the Democrat running for Senate in Florida, she says you're only targeting black and brown individuals. It's funny though, we had a text earlier today who said, I'm Hispanic and no one that I know in my family, in my friend circles, has been kidnapped by the state. And it's like, yeah, of course not. That's not happening. Tom Homan was asked about this over the weekend to react specifically to Angie Nixon. Angie Nixon's claims that ICE is only going after black and brown folks.
Ridiculous statement. Look, we don't racially profile. Everybody we talk to, we have reasonable suspicion of aliens to talk to them and to arrest them when you need probable cause. That's what the law says. And that's what we do. We don't arrest people based on the color of their skin. I'm actually an equal opportunity deporter. I deported people to 180 countries last year. So I don't care if you're from Asia, you're from Europe, or you're from other countries. If you're in the country legally, you'll be deported, regardless of the color of your skin.
Amen. Listen, if you're here illegally from Denmark, you have to go back. If you're here illegally from Slovenia, you have to go back. If you're here illegally from Russia, you have to go back. And the same can be said about any South American country. The same can be said about India. The same can be said about any Middle Eastern country. The key factor here is you're in the country illegally. However you made it over, if you're here illegally, you need to be removed. Point blank, period. It's not a skin color thing. It's a rule of law thing. And if we don't enforce the law equally for everyone who broke it, then we're honestly not doing our job. This administration needs to do more. They have been doing more. I want to see bigger numbers. I think it was not last week, but the week before, they had 27,000 deportations. If you scale that out over a year, you're looking at like 1.3 million. It's a lot. That's a lot of deportations. Do I envision them being able to scale that out for an entire year? Not necessarily. That's a pace that you need to keep up with that is going to be hard to do. But I think you need to try. Under Biden, 10, 15, 20, 30 million illegal aliens got into the country. We need to do the most I wish that they had got the National Guard moving on this stuff. I wish that they would bring our military stateside to get moving on this stuff and really go full-scale mass deportations. Probably not going to happen. Let's go to Jeff in Franklin. He wants to talk about H-1B visas. What's up, Jeff?
Hey, I got a quick question for you. I don't know. What is the accountability right now for the employers that employ the illegals?
It's not where it needs to be. I know that. I don't have it off the tip of my tongue, but I can look it up.
Because it really comes down to a math thing. You know, if there's no jobs for them, if these employers are, put in jail if they employ illegal aliens, they're liable too.
Yeah.
And
it would change everything. I think their business licenses should be revoked.
Yeah, so we're kind of attacking it from the rear instead of the head of the snake, because if I'm a business and I have a small business, and I do, and I don't employ illegals, but I'm competing against another business that does the same thing as me, and they are able to employ illegals and give a cheaper bid on a contract and win that contract because of the cost, because of labor,
yep,
then there's no punishment. That guy is reaping because his profit margin's staying the same.
No,
So-
you're absolutely right. There is some accountability, and I'll answer this off the air. The civil penalties as of 2025, 2026, I-9 paperwork violations, uncorrected technical errors, missing incomplete forms, $288 to $2,861 fine per form. Knowingly hiring or continuing to employ unauthorized workers, first offense could be as low as $716 to $5,700. Second offense, $5,700 to $14,000. Third offense, $8,500 to $28,000. DHS ICE issues a notice of intent to fine. Employers can request a hearing before an administrative law judge. Additional consequences can include cease and desist orders, debarment from federal contracts. There are criminal penalties if you're engaging in a pattern or practice of knowingly hiring or continuing to employ unauthorized aliens. You'll get fines of up to $3,000 per unauthorized alien and or imprisonment for up to 6 months of the entire pattern or practice. But I don't see that happening. Do you see the stories where employers are getting charged these fines or the employers are being imprisoned for hiring illegal aliens? I don't see it. Brad's on the road. Brad, do you see that?
I don't, Chris, but here's the reason why. As an employer, years ago, I had a shop. I still do swimming pools, but I had a shop and had a guy come up and he said, "Hey, my friend, he needs a job." I said, "Okay." She got papers. He said, "Yeah." So he gave me his papers, and we run the numbers through the state like we're supposed to, and it came back not valid. And he goes, "Okay, no problem." I kid you not, Chris, within an hour and a half, he came back, gave me new papers. We ran it, and the papers were good. The numbers were good. So as an employer, if you run somebody's number through the state and it comes back good, I mean, what else can you do? You've done what you're supposed to do. But again, this guy literally within an hour and a half had new papers.
It's bananas. Absolute bananas, Brad.
Exactly. So, I mean, it's you want to hold the employers responsible, yes, but at the same time, if they've done their job and they've got somebody that literally went and got papers 30 minutes ago, and the numbers coming back good when you run it, how can you hold the employer liable for it?
Yeah, I hear you, man. I do. I appreciate the call, Brad. Let's go to Chris in Goodlettsville real quick. What's up, Chris?
Hey, Chris, Christina, and I just want to tell you about the illegal thing. This country is a great country. Everybody wants to come here. My father came from Ireland with 10 of us back in the day. All of us in Ireland and worked for 3 years in New York for my 3 older sisters, and they came out here with him, and they worked to bring the rest of us out. So my dad came in 57. My sisters came, 60s, and my mom and us came out in 62. So he had to sacrifice and leave us in Ireland. He came back and forth, by boat. And that's only the right way to cut here. Nobody is
Hey, Christina, I'm sorry. Try and call back. We just don't have a good connection there. And we are up against it at the exact same time. It's 11:22. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
All right, drivers in Creve Hall got a crash reported 65 southbound past Harding Place, and we are learning about a child being killed after an incident with a dump truck in Middle Tennessee. Details coming up at 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Ken Weaver in the newsroom. Headlines on the way in less than 5 minutes. My name is Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by our friends at Better Water. You can listen to the show anywhere. iHeartRadio, tune in the FM dial. Did I accidentally leave my mic on that whole commercial break?
I was about to say, I don't remember seeing the light on, but that noise you made right there at the beginning.
Maybe I turned it on too early?
Maybe.
You didn't say any bad words.
Okay, because I was listening to, there's there's a meme going around. I sent it to my wife. It says millennials naming their chickens. And it's the DMX song. You ever hear that?
No, I haven't.
I think I have. I just need a refresh.
Oh, their chickens named that.
Yep, just millennials naming their chickens. Can't confirm.
I'm here for it.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I left that on the whole time.
I didn't hear the song playing during the commercial break, so I'm assuming no.
Well, that's good.
And I didn't hear any bad words.
I was quiet. Sometimes I'm deep in thought during these commercial breaks.
Yeah, sometimes I look down and I realize my mic is on and I wonder. Did I say fiddlesticks?
I hope not. I hope you didn't. The UK, they're dealing with their own immigration problems. Tom Homan was asked if he's worried about those immigration problems coming here to America. There was I actually covered this the other day, where there's a flyer that they're handing out to their newcomers. And on the flyer, it was like, hey, this is in the UK. Like, we actually don't permit having sex with children. And it's when you have sex with someone that doesn't say yes, that's rape. And it's like, why on earth would you let these people into your country if you feel the need to give them a brochure like this on their way in? Tom Homan was asked, is that going to come here to America?
Will choose to marry and make their own decisions about their lives. I bring this up because this is what progressivism is. Do you worry this could come to America?
Not while President Trump's president. I mean, I worked for the greatest president in my lifetime, and this is why he created the most secure border in my lifetime. Do you know, since he's been in office, we have the safest border in the history of this nation. Even better than Trump 45. There hasn't been a single illegal alien released from the border in 15 months. Joe Biden is releasing over 100,000 a month. So at this point in the Biden administration, he'd already released 1.5 million into the country. President Trump, last 15 months, 0.
Wow.
We got the most secure border in history of the nation. We got ISIS making record numbers of arrests and deportations. President Trump made a promise to American people, and we're keeping it. He will not let socialism come to this country, and he said communism won't happen either.
We do need to keep pushing back, though. I mean, if we don't want to look like Europe, we need to get a handle on it and fast. Europe is actually starting to push back in some areas. In Portugal, their president, Antonio José Seguero, has effectively banned Islamic burqas and other face coverings nationwide in public streets. He got the law on the books on August 18th, 2026. He banned the garments that conceal the face in public spaces, including burqas and niqabs, with fines from 150 euros to 3,000 euros, exemptions for health, work, or religious sites. The legislation is known as the Burqa Law, and it originated from the far-right party, and it passed with support from right-wing parties, emphasizes security, social integration, gender equality, and face visibility for identification and communication. Australia's next potential prime minister wants to ban the burqa as well. She said she's actually been pushing for this for a while. What was her name again? It was Pauline Hanson. I like Pauline, and she's against the burqa and the niqab as well. This is what she had to say about it a couple of years ago. This is Pauline Hanson. She wants to be the next Prime Minister of Australia.
Down on her call for a ban on Muslim immigration.
We have a disease. We vaccinate ourselves against it. Islam is a disease. We need to vaccinate ourselves against that.
Offending moderate Muslims and a swipe at those like Malcolm Turnbull, who criticised her support for anti-vaccination.
Solid. I'm here for it. I think we need to push back against this ideology. And it's actually it's encouraging to see other Western countries that you would have assumed have already fallen and voices rise up to push back against it. It's 11:31. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast coming up in 5 minutes, and we're learning more about an incident where a child was killed after being struck by a dump truck this morning in Tullahoma. Tennessee Highway Patrol says troopers investigating, but the circumstances remain unclear. Channel 4 spoke to a mother at the intersection of Country Club Drive and Kings Lane where it happened.
I've seen several people run that stop sign, that new stop sign. I've seen it firsthand. So unfortunately, I'm not surprised, but I hate it because, people should regardless be always watching, especially for kids during the morning, especially in the afternoons, too.
Now, she says a flashing stoplight was just recently installed at that intersection. And again, the Highway Patrol is investigating. They have not determined the exact cause of the incident at this time. Elsewhere in Middle Tennessee, Ascension St. Thomas Midtown says it has added new pharmacy safeguards after medications injected into patients' spines were mistakenly swapped, leaving at least one patient paralyzed, according to that patient's family. But pharmacy safety expert Dr. Stephen Eckel, who teaches at the University of North Carolina's Eshelman School of Pharmacy and is also a longtime hospital pharmacy administrator, tells News Channel 5's Jennifer Krause the changes Ascension announced are the same many hospitals are already encouraged to use.
And so it sounds like these sorts of steps should already have been in place.
Those are steps that we should be using in the care of patients, correct?
So the hospital says it has now added barcode scanning, independent reviews, and second pharmacist checks. And more findings on pro football players and brain injuries.
CTE is a degenerative brain disorder caused by repeated head injuries. At least 1 in 4 former football players in the NFL who died between 2016 and 2021 may have had it, according to a study in the British Medical Journal. And among those who gave their brains to science, and more than 300 did, nearly all had evidence of CTE. 93.2%. In a statement to ESPN, the NFL says it continuously strives to make the game of football safer. Wayne Cabot, ABC News.
That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friend Aaron Parker over at Parker Safes and Vaults in Shelbyville. Take a second and picture the things in your home that are incredibly valuable to you. It might be something that has some monetary value. It might be something that has some sentimental value. But whether it's firearms or photo albums, you know what it is, and you wouldn't want to lose it via burglary or via fire. So what do? You make a call to Parker's. Call the people that have helping Tennesseans protect what they love for close to 20 years. These guys will help you pick the right safe to protect what you need protected. You make that call, they'll find the right safe for your needs and your budget. They'll deliver it and they'll install it themselves. This is a veteran-owned, family-run Christian business, and they've been helping people just like you protect what they cherish with real safes since 2009. These are safes designed for serious protection, not filing cabinets that can be tipped over and pried open by a teenager. We're talking about brands like Liberty, American Security, Heyman, Holland, Graf Under, and more. They specialize in the right safe for the right customer, and there's hundreds of 5-star reviews with these guys because they do business the right way. Today is the day to make the call to Parker's and get yourself a safe. 931-842-6445. 931-842-6445. You can find them online, parkersafes.com.
Hey, this is Pastor Al, and join us on Super Talk 99.7, Sunday evenings from 7 to 8. We're going to look at the news from a biblical perspective.
"38 minutes past the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? I'm Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners. You get those at betterwater.com. Mason Fleming, he's so excited. He's ecstatic. Because it's time for the lightning round.
It's the lightning round with Chris Hand.
You like my dance?
Always like it.
Sometimes I dance because I need to. Other times I dance like no one's watching. But you can watch YouTube, Rumble, hit like, hit subscribe. It helps me feed the kids. If you want us to continue having North Korea night at the house, that's up to you. But if you want them to get some protein, hit like and subscribe. Thank you for your attention to this matter. First story of the day. Enes Kanter. She's not going to be allowed to play in the WNBA? This is very upsetting. Yep. She declared her eligibility for the draft, you bigots. Was her mustache not feminine enough for you? This is from ESPN, the worldwide leader in woke sports. The WNBA has not announced any plans to prevent Enes Kanter from attending future games after he was ejected from Wintrust Arena in Chicago on Sunday, but multiple sources told ESPN that the former NBA player will not be eligible to play in the Women's League. Bigots. This is bigoted. I can't believe in 2026 that they're going to try and define what a woman is in the WNBA.
You'd think we moved past this by now.
Like, what are we doing? Are we living in the Stone Ages?
Monsters.
Sources around the league said Kanter Freedom and fellow former NBA player Royce White are not eligible to play in the WNBA after the pair declared themselves women and eligible for the draft. This is after Kanter Freedom was removed from the building Sunday after a verbal altercation with Chicago Sky point guard Natasha Cloud. Freedom was sitting courtside. It's Enes Kanter Freedom. He changed his last name to Freedom because he's based. Kanter Freedom was sitting courtside in a black T-shirt that said woman, noun, adult human female. When a timeout was called late in the third quarter, Cloud walked toward Kanter Freedom. That's the Chicago Sky point guard, Natasha Cloud. Cloud walked toward Kanter Freedom, shouted at him. He was standing with his arms outstretched and took a few steps toward the court before security cut him off and directed him to leave. One source said Kanter Freedom had made comments toward Cloud throughout the game, though a fan wearing a gold Caton Clark Fever shirt sitting near Kanter said he only cheered during the game. He said, I got kicked out of the WNBA game for supporting women on X on Sunday night. Let that sink in, America. After an 11-year career in the NBA, Cantor Freedom has inserted himself in the political realm in recent years and has been vocal in the national debate sparked by Fever guard Sophie Cunningham's regarding comments regarding transgender athletes' participation in women's sports. I think he should be allowed to play. I think they're bigots, obviously. Charlemagne, you know Charlemagne from The Breakfast Club? It's a widely syndicated hip-hop morning show out of New York. If you have not heard of The Breakfast Club, I would tell you don't underestimate their influence because they are one of the biggest shows in the country, especially for that audience. And I believe they're on Netflix, right? Isn't The Breakfast Club on Netflix? I'm pretty sure they're on Netflix. Charlemagne does a segment called Donkey of the Day, where they highlight the dumbest person of the day. And he gave it to Enes Kanter Freedom.
Enes Kanter Freedom Donkey of the Day because he believes biological males shouldn't compete against biological females in women's sports. I agree with him on that. Okay, that's not even a debate for me. And I just think it's pointless to argue when you know it's only being used as a distraction because the midterms are right around the corner.
What did you say, bigot? You agree that only women should play in women's sports? I would say just talk to the party that you align with then, because they think that kind of rhetoric is hateful.
And Republicans can't win on policy, so they would rather drag people into another stupid culture war.
I think Republicans can win on policy. In fact, they won in 2024 on shutting down the border and mass deportations. You can make the argument that the mass deportations aren't there, but you can't argue that the border's not closed. That was policy that they won on. But the culture war stuff exists. So you're telling me my choices are a party that believes free things for everyone, abortion up until birth, and boys in girls' sports is not something I should vote against? Got it.
To debate so they can claim to be the party of common sense and Dems the party of people who don't know if men can have babies or not. Okay.
That's literally the Democrat Party. But they call it chest feeding. That's what they do.
I was like, maybe you're just pretending to be dumb. Now I don't think it's an act.
Okay, I'm giving Enes Donkey today because this guy has somehow decided that the best way to protect women's basketball is to disrupt women's basketball.
Okay. He's highlighting the hypocrisy. It's actually a massively good point. Enes Kanter, Royce White, they're probably not going to get in the WNBA, but there is a jacked dude playing in France that legitimately wants to be in the WNBA, and he would dominate that league. So if they don't highlight the absurdity now, they're going to be forced to allow that transgender athlete from France in the league. And once you let the toothpaste out of that tube, you're not putting it back in at all. Enes Kanter Freedom is very upset that he's not going to be allowed to play in the WNBA. In fact, he pushed back against it last night on the Ingram angle because we can't let these bigots win.
That's the reason that they're scared.
Do you actually think the WNBA, and his sources were telling various media outlets today that they've essentially decided you and Royce cannot play in the WNBA. You will not be eligible. And they're going to say something about the it's a publicity stunt. You're not really a trans woman. Are you a trans woman?
Well, I want to make this very clear.
Are you a trans woman?
Whoa, bigot.
You can't just ask that.
Yeah, who are you to ask that? Like, and I don't dislike Laura Ingram. I think she's probably a fine person. But that kind of bigoted rhetoric, like only she's going to be able to define that, you know? So don't ask.
Listen, Section 13, right? Article 13, Section 1 says if you identify as a woman, then you're allowed to play.
So you are identifying as a woman tonight?
I identify as a woman. Sure, yes.
Okay.
So I can play.
But they're never going to let you play.
Why not? I mean, that's the rule. That's the rule that they put, and I'm just following the rules. If they ever come out and say, "Okay, we are changing the rules," I respect their decision. I will, follow the rules. But right now, if you identify as a woman, you're allowed to play, and I am identifying as a woman, and I should be allowed to play.
Sign him. I would sign him so fast. Her. I would sign her. If I was a WNBA talent scout, I don't know if there's a better free agent on the market than Miss Enes Kanter Freedom. Why wouldn't you sign her? Imagine the ticket sales. Imagine the championships that would bring. You'd finally have a lady in the NBA that can dunk. So make it happen, bigots. Don't stand in the way of progress. Please. All right. Got another server here in the lightning round. We only talk about the WNBA when it has nothing to do with the actual sport. You notice that? You don't talk about the WNBA because somebody put up, 81 points and it was an incredible. That never happens. We only talk about it when there's other stuff going on. This could be 4D chess and this could be marketing. They could be literally paying Enes Kanter Freedom marketing money for this. It's earned media. It's free. All right, another story in the lightning round. Thank you. The Lindsay Clancy saga continues. A lot of people are big fans of Lindsay for whatever reason. I think it's sick and disgusting. I think it's demonic in nature. I think that a lot of these women have a woke mind virus. But people are fighting back. And a lawyer is saying that he has had multiple male clients tell him they're concerned that their baby mamas will be inspired by Lindsay Clancy and harm their kids. And so this lawyer, Alex Thomason, says he's going to be using these women's TikTok posts in support of Clancy against them in custody cases. And I think this is perfect.
100%. I've already been consulting with some men in custody cases where their baby mama has been doing the solidarity hold a heart thing with the Lindsay Clancy stuff. And he's like, hey, this woman's got all kinds of former depressive issues. She's had self-harm issues. This now is evidence and validation that I have of that fact. Concern based upon, prior allegations with no evidence, but allegations of hitting the kids. And so, yeah, we're going to go and swing for the fences, and we're going to try to strip this woman from having visitation rights. I want to be able to have a forensic psychiatrist interview this woman, just see just how wackadoodle she is. And we're going to use her TikTok posts.
If she's posting for support for Lindsay Clancy on TikTok, there's a good chance that the wackadoodle test will come back positive. Just so you know. And there's also a good chance that if they did an IQ test on that same woman, it would come back very, very low, dangerously low. Because if anybody's paying attention to this trial at all, there's no debate here. There's nothing to actually discuss. There's nothing to even talk about. They had a forensic psychologist on the stand. This is Dr. Heilbrun. He evaluated Lindsay Clancy, and his testimony on the stand was that she fabricated the entire hallucination story and that this murder of these 3 innocent children, these babies, was entirely premeditated.
That I found the account of hallucinations to be, as she described it, it would be very, very unusual to experience it that way. Never having, not before, not since, constantly for 18 minutes. However, if this was a thought, an unwelcome, intrusive thought, but still a thought, that's basically this is your last chance, you have to kill the kids so you can kill yourself, then that would be consistent with thoughts that she'd been experiencing for some time. She'd been having thoughts about harming herself, that she was, it was going to be very difficult for her to do this in a way that made sense.
He's laying out the case that this was premeditated. She'd been thinking about it for a very, very long time. It's sick. The more you see these women on TikTok and social media supporting this, it's dark. I would run away. Like I've seen the stories of the guys running away from women they're about to marry because they're showing support for Lindsay Clancy. Yeah, if you're dating someone or about to marry someone who is posting on TikTok in support of Lindsay Clancy, I don't know if that's who you want as the mother of your children. Do I got time for one more story in the lightning round? I got one more. Let's end on a positive note. You want to end on a positive note? I think that's probably the best.
Please do.
This is from WABI 5 in Maine. Patrick Osborne's the meteorologist, and he was doing a weather report, and he lost the ability to actually do the weather report. You ever see the Michael Keaton, Jack Nicholson Batman movie?
Of course.
Michael and Jack. That's where that happened. I just quickly grouped them together. So, do you remember when the Joker goes at people with the laughing gas and it happens to the lady on the news? You remember that part?
I do.
I think that's what happened to this meteorologist.
And a few of these showers and storms popping up mostly across the north and west, and resulting in the chance for some heavier precipitation, a few bands of storms in some spots. We gotta finish up this weather right now. I'm so sorry. Plenty of 70s, some low 80s and spots on Monday.
Whoa.
I've never had this happen before. Oh, jeez. All right, let me get it together real quick. I'm so sorry. Dew point's 21 off.
What's worse? Uncontrollably laughing on the news or laughing like a girl in general?
Causing all the dogs in the area to start howling for the octave change.
Let's just throw it to the 70s. Oh my gosh.
Where's this at?
WABI 5 in Maine.
Really? Because it sounded like Florida with that Mickey Mouse impression.
It's 11:53. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here from my friends at Zero Res Nashville. Real life in my house. 4 kids, 2 dogs. Baseball season in full effect. My son last night, he got just drenched in dirt, red dirt at the baseball field. And he looked at me and said, if you're not dirty, you're not trying. And I was like, that's a good point. That's a good point. And then we got home and he walked inside with the cleats on. I'm like, dude, if you're not taking the cleats off in the garage, you're not trying. And then it's all over the carpet. And it's like, come on, bud. So I got to call Zero Res again. It's okay. It's all right. They don't break the bank, and they're the Maha of carpet cleaners. If you check the reviews, it's obvious that it's not just my family using Zero Res. Thousands of families around Nashville are using them, and it's because of that Maha influence. They're not cleaning your carpets with harsh chemicals. They're not leaving soap residue behind. They're using their exclusive ZR water cleaning system. It will actually get your carpets insanely clean and help them stay clean longer. Right now, it's the perfect time to do it. It's always the perfect time to do it, spoiler alert, but they have 2- and 3-room specials happening today. Give them a call. Take advantage of the specials. 615-535-9376. That's 615-535-9376. Or you can book online, ZeroResNashville.com.
Hey, it's Dan Mandis from Super Talk 99.7 WTN and Nashville's Morning News. I'm here with Chris from USS, United Structural Systems. He's checking out my basement, my foundation, my crawl space to see if there's anything wrong. Fingers crossed. All right, so there's good news and there's bad news. The bad news is we found some cracks in my basement wall. The good news, I've got Chris here who's going to walk me through the next steps.
Yes, so unfortunately, your house has been subject to the pressure of the dirt. The hydrostatic pressure, heavy dirt pushes on foundation walls, and you got a little bit of what we call bowing. So that wall is pushed in a little bit, but we have a lifetime warranty solution for that. So we install, usually in a day or two, this can be done in most situations, we install carbon fiber straps, which keep the wall from moving inward at any point in the future. It's a lifetime warranty for anybody that ever owns this house. So it's a quick and routine thing that we do, but it yields some long-lasting benefits.
It's a great selling point if you want to sell your house.
Absolutely. Good thing about our warranties is they're not only transferable, like the contract says, they're automatically transferred when you sell your house. So you don't have to sign any paperwork or even send us an email saying that you sold your house. Warranty would transfer to the next owner.
It's 11:59 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand, Mason Fleming producing, Ken Weaver in the newsroom, Chad Benson in studio. What's on your radar today? What are you going to talk about?
Not big circumcision.
Big foreskin.
Big foreskin. I was watching. I was laughing so hard. I was like, the minute I saw that, I go, the minute Chris comes on today, they're going to talk about big foreskin. I knew it.
Well, people need to talk about big foreskin.
Somebody's getting eyes. Someone's getting new eyelids.
I timed it so that way Dan almost choked.
That was so funny. I was like, I know where this is going. I knew exactly where this is going.
It was so good. I couldn't take credit for that. That was a super texter with that joke, but I was like, yep, using that.
That is absolutely fantastic. Who knows what we'll talk about. A lot of fun stuff today. The NFL report about head injuries. It's a big, crazy, scary thing when they look at how many they only tested and how scary it is for the CTE.
Why aren't men standing with NFL players when they murder their families the way these psychotic liberal women are standing with Lindsay Clancy when she murders her children?
That is a good question.
And what would the reaction be if they did? You don't understand.
Yeah.
You don't understand what CTE is like.
No, nobody does. And the sad thing is we know exactly what went wrong, but there's no understanding at that point in time because you can't figure it out until they're dead, which is scary.
It's not the best time to figure things out.
No, it's too late at that point in time. The ship has sailed.
Yes, true. Chad's in next. It's 12:01. Super Talk 99.7 WTN.